NIST Advanced Manufacturing Series. AMS 100-49. Annual Report on U.S. Manufacturing Industry Statistics, 2022. An examination of how U.S. manufacturing compares to other countries, the trends in the domestic industry, and the industry trends compared to those in other countries. Douglas S. Thomas. Applied Economics Office, Engineering Laboratory. Preface. This study was conducted by the Applied Economics Office, AEO, in the Engineering Laboratory, EL, at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST. The study provides aggregate manufacturing industry data and industry subsector data to develop a quantitative depiction of the U.S. manufacturing industry. Disclaimer: certain trade names and company products are mentioned in the text in order to adequately specify the technical procedures and equipment used. In no case does such identification imply recommendation or endorsement by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, nor does it imply that the products are necessarily the best available for the purpose. Executive Summary. This report provides a statistical review of the U.S. manufacturing industry. There are three aspects of U.S. manufacturing that are considered. 1. How the U.S. industry compares to other countries. 2. The trends in the domestic industry, and 3. The industry trends compared to those in other countries. The U.S. remains a major manufacturing nation. However, other countries are rising rapidly. Manufacturing in the U.S. was significantly impacted by the pandemic of the coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19. Although U.S. manufacturing performs well in many respects, there are opportunities for advancing competitiveness. This will require strategic placement of resources to ensure that U.S. investments have the highest return possible. Competitiveness. Manufacturing industry size. In 2020, U.S. manufacturing accounted for $2.3 trillion in value added, 2012 chain dollars, or 12.0% of GDP, according to BEA data. Direct and indirect, that is, purchases from other industries. Manufacturing accounts for 24.1% of GDP. China was the largest manufacturing nation, producing 30.1% of global manufacturing value added, while the U.S. was the second largest, producing 16.6%, according to the United Nations Statistics Division data. Among the 10 largest manufacturing countries, the U.S. is the fourth largest manufacturing value added per capita. See Figure 2.4. And out of all countries the most recent U.S. rank is 13th, as illustrated in Figure 2.5. The U.S. ranks first in 7 manufacturing industries out of 16 total, while China was the largest for the other industries, as seen in Figure 2.6. Competitiveness. Manufacturing growth. Compound real, that is, controlling for inflation, annual growth in the U.S. between 1995 and 2020, that is, 25-year growth, was 2.0%, which places the U.S. below the 50th percentile. The compound annual growth for the U.S. between 2015 and 2020, that is, 5-year growth, was 1.2%. This puts the U.S. just below the 50th percentile, but above Canada and Germany among others. Competitiveness. Productivity. Labor productivity for manufacturing increased slightly from 2019 to 2020, as seen in Figure 4.9. The 5-year compound annual growth is -0.6%. For U.S. manufacturing, multi-factor productivity decreased 2.0% from 2019 to 2020 and has a 5-year compound annual growth rate of -0.4%, as illustrated in Figure 4.10. Productivity in the U.S. is relatively high compared to other countries. As illustrated in Figure 4.11, the U.S. is ranked 7th or 9th, depending on the measure used, in output per hour among 133 countries using data from the Conference Board. In recent years, productivity growth has been negative or has come to a plateau in many countries, and the U.S. seems to be following this pattern of slow growth. There are competing explanations for why productivity has slowed, such as an aging population, inequality, or other factors. A number of the explanations equate to low levels of capital investment. It is also important to note that productivity is difficult to measure and even more difficult to compare across countries. Moreover, the evidence does not seem to support any particular explanation over another as to why productivity appears to have stalled. Competitiveness, economic environment. There is no agreed-upon measure for research, innovation, and other factors for doing business, but there are a number of common measures that are used. The ranking of the U.S. in these measures has mixed results, ranking high in some and lower in others. For instance, the U.S. ranks 4th in patent applications per million people but ranks 17th in researchers per capita and 22nd in journal article publications per capita. The IMD World Competitiveness Index, which measures competitiveness for conducting business, ranked the U.S. 10th in competitiveness for conducting business, and the World Economic Forum, which assesses the competitiveness in determining productivity, ranked the U.S. 2nd. Note that neither of these are specific to manufacturing, though. A third index specific to manufacturing, the Deloitte Global Manufacturing Index, ranks China first and the U.S. second. The Competitive Industrial Performance Index, which measures capacity to produce and export manufactured goods, technological deepening and upgrading, and world impact, ranked the U.S. as fourth. Domestic specifics, types of goods produced. The largest manufacturing subsector in the U.S. is computer and electronic products, followed by chemical manufacturing and food, beverage, and tobacco products, as seen in Figure 2.10. Discrete technology products accounted for 37% of U.S. manufacturing. Domestic specifics, economic disruptions. Manufacturing value added in the U.S. declined significantly in 2008 and only recently returned to its pre-recession peak level in 2017. Manufacturing value added declined more than the decline in total U.S. GDP, creating a persistent gap. The result is that first quarter GDP in 2022 is 33.6% above its 2005 level, while manufacturing is at 25.1% above its 2005 level. As of July 2022, employment was still 10.0% below its 2005 level. During 2020, as a result of the pandemic, manufacturing employment declined to 19.9% below 2005 levels, which is near the same levels as the late 2000s recession. Despite lower employment levels, there are a substantial number of job openings in manufacturing. If the openings in June of 2022 were filled, it would raise employment above pre-pandemic levels and would equate to a 6% increase in manufacturing employment. Domestic specifics, manufacturing supply chain costs, high-cost supply chain industries, activities, which might pose as opportunities for advancing competitiveness, include various forms of energy production and/or transmission, various forms of transportation, the management of companies and enterprises, among other items listed in Table 3.6. Domestic specifics, manufacturing safety, compensation, and profits. As illustrated in Figure 4.5, employee compensation in manufacturing, which includes benefits, has had a 5-year compound annual growth of -2.1%, but remains 8.8% above total private industry compensation. In terms of safety in manufacturing, fatalities, injuries, and the injury rate have had an overall downward trend since 2002, as seen in Figure 4.2. However, the incident rate for non-fatal injuries in manufacturing remains higher than that for all private industry. For those that invest in manufacturing, corporate profits have had a 5-year compound annual growth of 4.6%, while non-farm proprietors' income for manufacturing has had a 5-year compound annual growth rate of -5.3%, as illustrated in Figure 4.7. Note that these two estimates cover slightly different years, which may account for the difference. 1. Introduction. Background. Public entities have a significant role in the U.S. innovation process. 1. The federal government has had a substantial impact in developing, supporting, and nurturing numerous innovations and industries, including the Internet, telecommunications, aerospace, semiconductors, computers, pharmaceuticals, and nuclear power, among others, many of which may not have come to fruition without public support. 2. Although the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, Small Business Innovation Research Program, SBIR, and Advanced Technology Program, ATP, have received attention in the scholarly community, there is generally limited awareness of the government's role in U.S. innovation. The vastness and diversity of U.S. federal research and development programs along with their changing nature make them difficult to categorize and evaluate. 3. But their impact is often significant. For instance, the origins of Google are rooted in a public grant through the National Science Foundation. 4. 5. One objective of public innovation is to enhance economic security and improve our quality of life. 6. Which is achieved in part by advancing efficiency in which resources are consumed or impacted by production. This includes decreasing inputs, which amount to costs, and negative externalities, for example, environmental impacts, while increasing output, that is, the products produced, and the function of the product, for example, the usefulness or quality of the product, as seen in Figure 1.1. In pursuit of this goal, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has expended resources on a number of projects, such as support for the development of the International Standard for the Exchange of Product Model Data, Step 7, which reduces the need for duplicative efforts such as re-entering design data. To continue reading this, please visit nist.gov/publications. Advanced Manufacturing Series.